I had to do something, didn't I? I keep wondering what I might have done differently, or how I could have known better. I suppose so. I should get some rest. It's been a long day, and you've given me a lot to think about.
Watcher? You only have to ask. Good. I have no concerns, Watcher. Where I am assigned is of no concern to me. But I do think the Deadfire can be profitable for the Republic. If the Dukes need me here, I am glad to serve them. Whatever they are up to cannot be good for any of us. At their best, the gods are powerful children. At worst, they are little more than mad beasts taking out their anger on our world. I have little interest in distinguishing which type Eothas is. Que? Linnea was a good companion and a skilled warrior. But her imagination got the better of her. It appears to have gotten the better of you as well. After we parted ways, I returned to the Republics and reported to the Duke's Bells. The trade agreement we brokered with the Anamenfath was quite lucrative for the Republics. The Deerwood was still recovering from Waidwin's legacy and was in no position to compete. The Duke's Bells was so pleased with my performance that I was made the personal guard of the Duquess Spirento. Spirento is the most beautiful of all the Republics. And though I should not admit this, I cherish the Duquess above all other Duke's Bells. Still, our profit came at the expense of the Deerwood.
Easily done.
Ship life sure is an adventure, ain't it? Just think of all the places we can sail to, all the sights we could see. This is nothing like being stuck on a farm, or cloistered in the back of a temple. Tell me what's on your mind? They're there in my head when I sleep, and sometimes I can taste them on the back of my tongue like a smear of grit. Happens when I take in a particularly volatile soul. Go madder than I already am? I don't rightly know. It's not like I can turn my back on my duty to my god, even if it kills me. I'm glad we talked.
Ah, I see your plan.
bitter on my tongue, Shuffler.
I smell conflict in the air. I will swallow you whole!
Something I can do?
I'm here. A little something for you.
I'm here. Word and rock.
What say?
Right on target.
I'm here. Dagger, dagger, dagger.
Speak your mind.
I'll do this.
As your hand touches the dim Audra, you feel the same cool, pricking sensation that you did when you touched the pillar near Port Mage. You concentrate on the pillar. The world around you swiftly falls away, leaving only the vast emptiness of the in-between. The Audra and a multitude of golden threads undulating off into the distance. For a second time, you gather the threads in your mind and bind them together, forming a solid tether that ripples out toward its distant anchor. Again, a crack sounds from the terminus. Your consciousness is violently pulled along the cord. You are prepared for the sensation this time, but are still disoriented when you come to a sudden stop. You find yourself standing behind a familiar Titanic statue as it trudges through invisible waters. Standing at Aethys' shoulder, your soul is dwarfed by the massive god's form. Energy pulses along the tether, each wave feeding the Audra's movements. He stops. His head cranes behind him, again accompanied by the sound of stone shearing and buckling. His eyes rest upon you. He does not reach for the cord, but considers you for a long span of silence before speaking.
Your first attempt to contact me was brave. This second attempt, is it born out of desperation or something else? Why do you continue to follow me, Watcher of Cadnua? There was no malice in that act. It was a coincidence of time, place, and necessity.
Aethys' voice grows fainter as he speaks.
I am sorry for what I did, but it was done for the hope of a better future. I hoped only to explain, not to pacify you, not to pardon my actions. Can you be pacified, or is revenge your goal? If I could pay it, I would. But there is not a fine in all Aora heavy enough to clear my debt, Watcher. I cannot undo what I have done, but perhaps I can help make a better future for us all.
Aethys becomes silent. You can sense his presence advancing back along the cord between you. His energy flows over your hand, tendrils of light probing into the air around you. They poke and prod at the silent lost souls hovering in your vicinity.
You are in a unique position. In spite of the work of the Leaden Key and Hand Occult, you have seen through our facade. You know the gods' true nature. Without the benefit of your knowledge, few mortals would be willing to accept the true history of their gods. After all, we weren't. The last time I walked Aora, I made a mistake in not revealing my true purpose. And after we are finished here, I'm certain they will call for you at the hour of their choosing. Won't they, Watcher? Yes, I will tell you. But this is not the time. As I take this body farther from the lighthouse, the tether grows weaker, and I have already tarried too long. Soon this link will unravel completely. If I have not reached my destination when that happens, I will need to pull more souls from your world.
The edges of Aethys's massive form blur and dissolve. The huge figure retreats from you. As it moves, the tether begins to rapidly unravel. As Aethys speaks, his voice sounds garbled, fragmented, and distant.
If you would know more, find me at the Ashen Maw in Margren's Teeth. I must rest there before I begin my final work. When I leave that place, you will not be able to follow. Before I go, I should return some of this to you. I still have need of the great power of your soul, but I can spare you this portion.
A pulse of energy moves back along the golden cord toward you. It feels familiar, comforting, even before it contacts you. The energy washes over you, flooding you with feelings and memories you had thought long forgotten until they settle back into the cracks of your soul. And then the tether and cord snap, Aethys's figure evaporating into dust that mingles with the endless gray expanse. Heat rushes over you, and the uncomfortable sensation of the Audra Pillar's presence cuts off. The gloom of the in-between is pierced by the light of the living world. You are back in the lighthouse, no longer dim. The luminous Audra beside you is filled with warmth and light.
I'll handle this.
That's right. Keep slithering.
thought Aethys was too busy kicking over islands to blunt his teeth with mortals. What say? You must take something from all this idle chatter with the gods. And you knew things he did not. Ah. For what does he listen to you, then? The gods I know are tight of lip and hard of hearing. Ikera, it makes my head hurt whenever I try to figure out what Ngati wants from me. I could not imagine the inner workings of a god. But then, I am not meant to. It is for mortals to flail in the darkness, I say, while gods point us toward light. To be worshipped, to have others interpret your design. Such a burden, and mortals demand it so. For what should a god worry about such cares, when theirs is the hand on the tiller? Ikera, thank you. At least Aethys has you to keep him in check. What happens when we catch up to him is something for future Tekehu to worry about.
Scratch under the wet clay of any artist and you hatch a lifetime of fear and doubt. My boy doesn't fear the gods. He only fears what he'll compromise by living up to his potential. But isn't it easier to let sculptures represent you? Poor thing. Nothing he does could disappoint me. But that is a mother's prerogative.
Captain, I would not interrupt your contemplation, but it is not every day I see someone commune with luminous Adra.
If you got something to tell us.
For what does Aethys keep walking away in the middle of a conversation? Where does he go next?
All the places he can go, and he chooses a spot named for Magrin. What could he be thinking?
Careful that we don't sail too close, Captain. Magrin's teeth are sharp, and this handsome fish would make a handsome meal.
Scale-bellied cowards! I knew they'd run!
Yes?
Look at our beacon. Even the Colossus couldn't destroy it. And those snakes aren't so tough now, are they? Of course. The Hanzanui will want to thank you personally for your help here. And she should also know what we're up against. She's usually at the Brass Citadel in Nekataka. Though she gets called to the palace often, haggling with the Queen and the Valiums. Looking for a real challenge after what you did to those scale bellies? The only thing I know about the place is it's supposedly made of fire. And no one's ever come back from it. But anything can be overcome. Clear skies.
Indeed.
You blink and find yourself standing in the knee-high grass of an endless field, with the day just falling into dusk. Then, the earth falls away. The wind ceases, and you are sent tumbling up into the dark of the sky.
Watcher.
The voice of the Pallid Knight shakes the earth at your feet. You have returned to Bareth's realm, your soul once more called to attend the wishes of the god of death. You can't be certain, but you think you might see the barest hint of a smile tugging at the edges of the Pallid Knight's lips.
Once again, you have spoken with the Child of Light. Tell me what you have learned. Intriguing.
The Pallid Knight stares past you, pensive.
While attend. Tell me what your many eyes perceive.
Her words ring out, and a heavy silence descends. In the silence breaks the murmur of countless voices. They speak all at once in languages both known and unknown to you. In the space beside Bareth, an eye blinks open, followed fast by several more. They are round, keen eyes of Kith, the slit eyes of snakes, the small, dark marbles of birds, the bulbous lanterns of deep-sea fish.
Here we are.
A figure walks through the cloud of eyes as one might step through a door. It is an Orlan, then a pale elf, an ocean human, a Naga. Each of them eyeless. They are Wow.
This is the first interesting thing to happen in ages, and we do so love a riddle. Some things must be lost to be found again. You knew that once, when you buried my scroll beneath the earth in Black Meadow. But it seems you have forgotten. We have read the book of your life, Watcher. It is heavy with the weight of your choices, and its pages are not unmarred by the blood of others. You reap, but on a smaller scale. We see between the strings of the world, and Eothas is there, strumming them like a lute. His tongue is still, yet he sings of a coming joy. What tune he plays, we do not know. It is complex, ever-shifting. One moment vibrating in harmony, the next in discord.
A man strides through the door to Bareth's realm. Behind him lope wolves with lolling tongues, and jungle cats whose long tails twitch with every step. Galawain, the changeling, arrives, and he brings with him the wild heart of Aora's untamed places. Fast on Galawain's heels, a small wave of seawater washes across the tiles. It pours off the edge of the platform and cascades down into the beyond. From out of the water rears a glowing lure, then the head of a gigantic fish. The round black eyes of Andra roll to meet yours.
Eothas is nothing if not resourceful. I admire his nerve.
In the changeling's voice, you hear the soft patter of rain on leaves and the rush of wind through treetops.
If his journey leads him back to us, he has proved himself worthy of return to the fold.
Aethys does not return to us. He returns to execute some grand plan. We must stop him.
Andra's voice rises like a tide, panic riding its crest. The doors lining the walls of Bareth's realm slam open in unison. Warped pieces of ancient armor and the remnants of discarded weapons roar through the doorways. They meet in the center of the room, in a shower of sparks, and form the vague figure of a man. Finally, a blacksmith's sledge hurtles past your shoulder, and the figure snatches it from the air. A man made half of metal and half of ruined skin stands before you. The rounded metal of a well-worn shield makes up most of his skull, his right eye socket, and jaw. His mouth is pulled forever into a half grimace.
If Eothas has something foolish planned, perhaps we can turn him from that path and set him down a more productive one.
Abaddon's words crash and screech together, like long steel gears forced to movement for the first time in centuries.
Abaddon speaks with a child's naivety. He violates not their realms, but mine. I feel his urgency in every stamp of his feet along my spine. I will send tsunamis to slow him, if Mogren would stir the earth beneath Mogren's teeth.
The water at your feet recedes. Lava oozes up through the shallow water, and a woman made from the guts of the earth emerges. She settles her characteristic broadsword on her shoulder and sighs a cloud of smoke and ash. Mogren returns.
In the age when our steps carved valleys across the face of Aora, our bodies were impervious to all but the strongest attacks. I doubt fire and water will be enough to stop him. But I will bear down upon Eothas with all the heat and fury of the earth, if I must.
The deep, bellowing cry of an aurochs shakes the ground beneath your feet. The cry drones on and on, a moan without end. Wal's many eyes squeeze shut. Andra slips back beneath her waves. Mogren dissipates in a swirling cloud of steam. Galawain's beasts cower and whine. Only the pallid night stands impassive.
My end comes to all things in time. Should Eothas care to hasten the inevitable, I welcome his efforts. Eothas seeks a slate wiped clean, freedom from the endless revolutions of Barath's wheel, the final emancipation of the countless stolen mortal lives the gods hoard within themselves.
The Child of Light will not choose the hour of my death.
Mogren tests the edge of her broadsword with a smoldering finger.
He sows chaos in his longing for a radiant dawn. So much will be lost in the cacophony of fear his actions inspire.
The crack of thunder rends the air. The gods fall silent.
We can wait no longer to act. Speak with him, Watcher. Discover what it is he plans. To live is a choice, and you yet draw breath. Drink deep of the air, Watcher. We have work yet to do.
The warmth of the pallid night's breath blows soft on the back of your neck, though she stands nowhere near you. Water begins to creep across the floor. It swells, runs swiftly, and catches at your ankles. You scrabble at the tiles, but it's no use. The current's pull drags you off the edge of Bareth's realm and into the fathomless beyond. You splash down in water so dark you can't see the bottom. Then, the water recedes, gone like a dream upon waking. The hard wood of your cabin's floor presses against your spine. The gods are gone, but you remain.